life engineering. Processes that combine science, wisdom, and study to build a life of alignment. Joining Dr. Pat is your host, Gabriella Embon, bringing you bi-weekly wisdom nuggets, your step-by-step guidance to build a life of no regrets. Stay tuned as they uncover powerful processes for you to realize your true potential. Are you ready for some magic wisdom? Life engineering starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome. Oh boy, do we have a show for all of you today. First of all, this is the episode Life Engineering to Attract our one keyword coming up, compatible soulmate. Gabriella, what a great topic.
I'm so passionate about this, so passionate about this topic because, first of all, I have my own journey and story. We'll get into that story. So this is very dear to my heart, very dear. I don't know. Do you believe in soulmates, Dr. Pat?
I do, absolutely. Not only do I do, but one of our channels for next year is our soulmate channel, and it is called that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I believe that when we find and pair with our most compatible soulmate, it's magic, it's miracles. Not that we are not complete without, but with, we are, as I said, we have superpowers, supernatural.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that though, because, ever since the Jerry Maguire movie, where that famous line, you complete me, people are thinking they're incomplete, but that is not what we're saying today.
No, absolutely not. It's not. And, I do believe we have many soulmates, but there's one that is what we call, in Theta Healing, we call it the most compatible soulmate. There's a soul that is assigned to us, kind of meant to be. And if you think about it, the whole topic of soulmate, if you think about what needs to happen for us to meet with that person, to be with that person, right? You have to be in the right place at the right time. It's a miracle on its own to be able to meet that person among all the people in this planet. So, some people have to miss a flight or they have to move to another country, like it happened to me. Some people meet their most compatible soulmate in the middle of a health crisis. You never know. It's so, I have all these words like miracle, magic, sparks, wonders. These are the words that come to me when you think about meeting that person and being with that person, right? It's not just about meeting them, but being able to move along and create a life together. So this is what this topic is all about. It's not to say we're incomplete without, no, but what if we can have more and experience that magic? That's what this episode is all about, and how to engineer our path to actually meet that person.
Where do we start? Because a lot of people will start on the outside. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying you don't have to do things on the outside. It's like anything, right? In order to be, I was talking about the women's basketball draft earlier today on another show, but in order for us to even be talking about those folks, they not only had to do things on the outside to perfect their skill, but they had to do things on the inside. What do you think about that? Does that factor in?
Yes, it does. Absolutely does. And, I'll tell you my story with this because some people say you have to love yourself before you can meet your soulmate. And I know on paper it sounds logical, but that wasn't my case. So I tend to disagree because empirically it's not what happened to me, right? I'll tell you very shortly my story because I don't think I ever shared that with you. I mean, I share that with our students, but not with our audience. So I was engaged to get married with someone that I've been dating for several years, 5 years to be very precise. I was quite young. I was 21. And for practical reasons, living in university and all of that, it made sense for us to get married. But then 6 months before, I met my most compatible soulmate, who happens to be my husband today, right? And my soul started speaking to me. And then my brain was going, okay, stop. You're getting married. This is just cold feet. Cannot happen. And then, of course, because we're saying that there's magic and there are signs. And when we listen to the signs, when we are in dialogue with the creation, the signs, there's somebody out there that is truly, and I have another story about that, wants to help us meet that person. It's meant to be. So the signs came in for me through a dream. I dreamt that I was entering the altar, and the person that was standing in that altar was not my fiance at the time. It was my current husband. And that we're talking about a month before my wedding, when everything is already planned.
Wow.
And now I was faced with a very difficult decision, right? A very difficult choice that will hurt people no matter what. But as my husband always says, small explosion, small collateral damage, big explosion, bigger damage. So the small explosion was canceling the wedding a month before. The bigger explosion would be divorcing that person later. And maybe even already having kids. So bigger explosion, bigger damage. And then, the universe supported me, because not only I had the dream, there was an argument between me and my fiance. And that's when, when your mouth speaks, but your brain doesn't,
Yes.
like if somebody else took over your speech. My words came out of my mouth, and where I'm canceling the wedding. This is over. And was the end of it. And the beginning of me start dating my husband, and eventually marrying my most compatible soulmate. So if you think about everything that needs to happen, and sometimes we need to do to be with our most compatible soulmate, the signs, the help, the universe is conspiring with you to be with that person, because not because you're perfect or he's perfect, not because he sorry, that's not the right word, not because he was feeding a list that I have made of the qualities that I want in my most compatible soulmate. No, simply because the universe is saying this is the person, it's meant to be. So,
But one of the things I want to talk about, because you're going to walk us through this, and but one of the things is I am really struck by how you listened to that inner, for lack of a better word, that inner voice that was guiding you. You see, we will dismiss that, but you listened to that voice, and then that guided you. That's really important, especially if we want to be united with our soulmate.
yes, we want to be in a dialogue with the creation. But at that time, honestly, I don't know. I guess I was always intuitive, but I was not into the work that I do today. And you said, people say you need to love yourself. I don't think I loved myself at that time. I didn't start my, healing journey, spiritual journey at all. I was in a complete different vibration. It was just the time for me to meet that person. And the universe will, you see, the universe is not waiting for you to love yourself to send you messages. I have a beautiful story about that. It's always there to support you, whether you love yourself or not yet, whether you've done your work or not yet. We're always being supported, and we're always being guided to meet our most compatible soulmate, right? I'll tell you a story because I love this story so much. And it talks about the signs that you were mentioning before. So here's the story. Bear with me with this story because it's so beautiful. A man dies in a car accident, a young person, fairly young, and he finds himself on a cloud. Looks back, looks down, realizes this is over. I am on the other side. By the corner of the cloud, there's an angel coming to welcome him and says, "Hello, my name is Sandra. Welcome to the afterlife." And then she asks him, "So how was your recent life?" And he says, "It was hard. It was difficult. There were challenges, work, children, homework, mortgage, wife, in-laws, parents-teacher interview. It was not an easy life." And Sandra, the angel, says, I actually see that you got everything you wanted. And the man goes, everything I wanted? I don't think so. What did I get? Meanwhile, as they are talking, they arrive into a big, big office with a lot of clerks, busy, answering calls, sending messages, talking to each other. So the man asked, what's all this bureaucracy? And Sandra replied, these are the offices of God Inc., right? This is God Inc.'s offices. This is where all the requests from down there arrive here and we answer them. So the man asked, so what? Why didn't you answer my calls, my requests, my orders? And Sandra, the angel, says to him, what do you mean? We didn't answer? Right? She replied in astonishment, we didn't answer? Come with me, she says. And she takes him to a different department in God's Inc. It's a tinier office in which angels are stamping papers and forms with a stamp, a rubber stamp saying approved, approved. Then she asked him, he asked her, what's the difference between the two departments? She says, what do you think is the difference between the two departments? And he says, oh, of course. This small one with everything is approved, this is for the VIP people. It's not for me. The chaotic department with all the noise and the people, that's for the regular masses like me. So Sandra the angel replies, no, this tiny department is for people who know what they want. And the other is for the rest. Let me take you to your personal orders department. Come with me. And she takes him back to the big department. And there are 20 people shredding papers, packing boxes, unpacking boxes. And she says, you see this? This entire operation until today was working for you. And he says, all of this for me? Yes, said Sandra the angel. They were very busy with you. Come inside. Let's go take a look at your archives. And then she shows him an example. You see, remember when you participated in that running competition at school? Of course I remember. I remember losing, says the man. Yes, but you first asked to win. And we were making that happen, but then came in a memo from you saying, oh, my friend is wearing new Adidas. He will probably win just because he has those shoes. So we had to cancel your request. Remember that job you wanted to get at Google? You thought you will probably don't get it. Of course I didn't get it. We wanted to give it to you. But then you started thinking you're not good enough or don't have enough experience to work there. So we had to cancel it. The man was shocked. So many messages about work and health and relationships and money that contradicted each other. And then Sandra the angel says, we send you messages to clarify, to point you where you need to go. And he goes, messages? You didn't send me any messages. I didn't get any messages. She says, well, we tried. Your line was not available. We send you messages through songs, through friends, through signs, but you were not available. We tried to answer your request, but you kept ordering and canceling and ordering and canceling. Unfortunately, this is the way it is. So I love this story because it relates to what you were talking about.
I love it. I love it. I love this story. And we're going to talk about how this all comes together. You know why I love this story? Because I was talking earlier today about a common theme last night at the women's basketball draft. Unprecedented change in women's sports. Now, why? So much public. Do you know that the seats are sold out for some of those games? They sold, but here's why. It's exactly what you said. When you listen to these women after they got up and they received their whatever draft, whatever it was, of course, Caitlin Clark, we knew was going to be the first pick. But every one of them said basically the same thing. I had this dream when I was 2. I had this when I was 4. I knew I wanted this when I was 6. La, 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 la. And then I disciplined my life. I worked. but they never changed it. I don't think you ever heard a Caitlin Clark say, yeah, wanted to be here, but then I thought I didn't. Isn't that what you're saying? Because what you're talking about is the angels are listening to us. If we say we want something, yes. If we say we don't, yes.
That's right. And the universe is not waiting for me to love myself for me to meet my soulmate. If it's the right time, then and I want and I requested that, then it will happen. You see, we
Yeah.
put the prerequisites, we put the constraints. Oh, first I need to have money in order to meet my soulmate. First, I need to get a promotion in order. No, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Now, in the last episode, we talked about manifesting. Let's just talk about this because this is the same thing. See, people think manifesting means about money. No, 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 no. No, but let's talk about this for a minute because we talked about four things in the last episode, which are so applicable to what you're saying today because you
Yes.
did it.
Yes, we talk about making the unseen seen. So that assignment to our most compatible soulmate was done. We just need to make it seen, right? So we talk about the 4 steps. Know what you want, be that, then, own that identity as that person, act the opportunities that come your way, embrace them like I acted on that dream and on that conversation to actually say my wedding is canceled, and then have, of course. So in the what we were talking about, usually we tell people, okay, make a list of what you want in your most compatible soulmate. It's not bad, but I prefer to take this to approach this a little bit different. Rather than focusing on the other person, I rather to focus on my vision. What's my vision? Because you are inviting someone to share a vision with you,
Yeah.
right? And if you put your vision out there and it's very clear, then the right person that resonates with that vision will come. The perfect match will come. So people usually visualize, see yourself with your most compatible soulmate, how they look, what they have. No, I invite you to do this a little bit differently. To truly ask yourself, what do I want? What's my vision for my love life? What kind of life do I want? Do I want to travel the world and be a nomad? Do I want to have a home full of children, toys, big table? Do I want to be a career person and have a spouse who more supports and take care of the kids? What home do you wish to build? Right? Rather than looking at the other person. So the best way to do that is to imagine. Imagine that you are in your home with your most compatible soulmate and people come to visit your future home. They come to visit your future home. What inspires them in your home? What do they remember? If you are able to describe that, then you'll actually have the vision of what you want, and then the right person, then the universe, this is the person to match that vision.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you about this. So I want you to comment on this so we can, really bring this to the forefront for people. I have to tell you that in preparing for this, I really thought about this when you asked me that first question about the soulmate. So here, I'm not going to go into a big story, but I'm going to give you the short version. I was in a relationship for 17 years with someone, and I was not a very good partner. Just saying that, right? A lot of reasons, which I'm not going to talk about today. I've done a lot of shows on this. And then I had the realization, especially after I got clean and sober, and I looked at my life and I said, what the bleep did I do? And what I held in that consciousness was, can I repair it? Can we ever be together? Blah, 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 whatever that looks like. Today we are. So the reason I want to say this story is because there are things that will happen that would almost deflate our dream. There, right? Now, I didn't announce this to the world, but I did exactly what you said. I put one foot in front of the other so that I could perhaps create a way for that to happen again. Now, why am I sharing this? Because it's an example of what not to do and what to do and not give up. And isn't that what you're talking about? If we follow what you just said, the last part, act, maybe then you got to do some things differently.
Well, I think we skipped I see from your story that you went into the second step, which is to be the space for someone. You said I wasn't the best partner this person could have. So I had a vision of the home, right? Are you the best person to invite? You know, if you want somebody that has all these qualities, are you that ideal partner for that person? So sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, I want this. Is my identity, is my being the right partner for that person?
It
And
wasn't.
That's
I
right.
had to change a lot.
So you started working on yourself. You improved yourself. You took care of yourself. You made space. Sometimes people need to make space with their time, physically speaking and emotionally speaking. They need to work on themselves so they can be that ideal partner for that ideal person you want to fit in your home, in the vision of your home. And that would be the being, right? Become that person that you are that ideal self for that person too. Because we focus on I want this person to have A, B, C, D. Well, will that person want to be with you? Right? So the second step is the be that yourself. And the third, as you said, is act. And when I think about act, I think about, first of all, pray, call your most compatible soulmate. But again, be careful how you request. Don't send a memo canceling it, right? So don't ask to meet your most compatible soulmate. Ask to be with them, whether it's marry or be with them. Ask to be with them, not just to meet them. Be accurate in your request.
Yeah.
And then, of course, take action. Create the container for your most compatible soulmate to find you. Be the container. Have that home. Prepare your home. Prepare your home to receive that person, and prepare your home internally as you did. Be yourself. Act. Reach out. Sometimes we meet our most compatible soulmate earlier than we should, earlier than we are ready. And then it feels like it doesn't work. And then we get back together like you because we were not ready. It doesn't mean it's not the right person.
Yeah. This is why I wanted to talk with you about, I love the way you laid this out, because what you're saying is you got to know what you want, right? And you got to hold that want. Otherwise, your want's going to get canceled.
That's right.
It's like canceling an appointment, right? You know, you made the appointment and then you cancel the appointment. So we don't want to do that. And then that space, that B space, is so important that you described. And then you talked about act, but there's one thing left. And that is, I like to call it my effort barometer. What am I going to do? How am I going to hold it? Am I going to invest? Am I going to commit? Am I going to get weak knees? What is it going to be? Because you see, weak knees, so to speak, in a situation in Soulmate is telling Sandy, the angel, uh-oh, I'm having doubts, right?
That's right. So let me tell you a story of a client that told me he has found his most compatible soulmate. And he said, I was with all these women before, and I realized I had a very big list of what I want these women to be. But when I look at myself, I realize, why would they want to be with me? I'm always angry. I'm not pleasant. So that's the B that we were talking about. I just remember my client's story. But yes, so once you attract your most compatible soulmate, which you, by the way, know, because when you are with your most compatible soulmate, usually if it's between a man and a woman, the man will feel like they're a man and the woman will feel like she can be a woman. Everybody feels they can be themselves. You feel fully accepted. That's a sign we are with your most compatible soulmate. It's beyond passion. It's that feeling I'm fully accepted. I can be myself. So once you are with that person, okay, you receive your order, take care of it. Otherwise, you're going to say, well, you're not appreciating it. I send it to you, but you're doing nothing with it. So learn to build a life together. It's not simple. It's not simple to share your space. It's more natural to be single. Why would I share my space? Why would I share my money, my time? So learn to build a life together.
Yeah.
It's not, as I said in the previous shows, we're not, people do get married and they say, I'm married. It's not about being married, it's about doing marriage,
Yeah.
actively investing in the relationship in order to make that connection deeper and deeper and
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
Well, that's been, look, I mean, for today, I just want to be clear to everybody. Man, woman, 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 man, man. And I want to just say this, the LGBTQ plus community has been doing just what you said right there in that last moment for like 100 million years, right? Before marriage, whatever we're calling it today. But there's something to learn from that. And there's something to learn about each other because, boy, I'll tell you, we do know when we're not with our, we do know those moments, right? So,
We don't
what
know.
can you help us with so that we remember I can be who I am, you can be who you are? Yes, we make compromises here and there, but we don't have to give up our identity or self.
It's the feeling that when you are with that person, it's safe for you to be you. You don't need to think your existence so much. It's that feeling that you are not thinking every move you're doing and how you are behaving and what you're saying. You are just yourself. And that gives you a very special feeling in your heart. And you feel it quite from the beginning, I have to say. So also, I think it's important to realize that what we get from the other person cannot be more important than the person. Um,
Say
you know,
that one again, please.
what we get from that person cannot be more important than the person. You know, you marry or you get together with that person, not with what they give you, not with their skills, qualities. Okay. If you marry someone because you admire their drive or their success, and then what happens if they can't work anymore? You stop loving them. So, you know, I read the story of a woman that her husband was in a coma for many, many months. And he couldn't do anything, obviously. And then he passed. And somebody said to her, well, it's not that you got anything from him anyway.
Mm.
And she said, I didn't lose something. I lost someone.
Mm. Wow.
It's not what he did for me, it's him. And that is also important because sometimes people get disappointed if the other person is not delivering something. No, I'm not saying that we want people to take responsibility for their lives, but you have to love the person before anything else they represent. Just the person.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for a powerful, powerful show. And you're right. You know, there's so many things that as people we gain, we lost. Sometimes, you know, we don't have a job. Sometimes we do. Sometimes who knows? But what you just shared there to bring this full circle is so important. And boy, wouldn't that be a great way to begin to explore yourself and how you're feeling, right? Gabriella, thank you. How do people find out more about you? Thank you so much. This is a very, very powerful, powerful show. Thank
Maybe
you.
we should continue the discussion on marriage in the next show.
Oh,
Or
okay.
relationship.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. See, I got a hot flash right there. How do people find out more about you, please?
Oh, yeah, they can find me on coachingacademy.net, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, coachingacademy.net, or
Yeah.
Gabriela Embon on Facebook. Send me a private message.
Yeah. So I shared this little story with someone. I don't talk a lot about my personal life, but I did share that little story about my own journey. They called me a rebounder. I said, okay.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It doesn't matter what people call you. It is what you said today. It's what's in your heart. Can you really feel a level of love and compassion for who you are today? Gabriella, thank you so much for doing shows like this that are so powerful, so personal, so intimate, and so what people are thinking. Thank you so much for today, Gabriella.
Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Thank you, Emily, for pushing all the right buttons. And thank you all for being the best audience on the planet. There was a lot here to unpack. I think that's why Gabriella said we're going to do another show on this.
Talking about the audience, I woke up this morning with a beautiful message from someone saying, I listen to your podcast again and again. Every time I learn something new, thank you for doing them. This morning. Yeah.
You're going to make me cry.
Thank you, Dr. Pat, for sharing this platform.
Thank you. We'll see you all next time. See you all next time.
You have been listening to Life Engineering, processes that combine science, wisdom, and spirituality to create a life of alignment on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Join host Gabriella Embon and Dr. Pat every first and third Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific for bi-weekly wisdom nuggets on how to create your perfect synergy between your mind, body, and spirit in order to realize your true potential. For more information, visit Gabriella at coachingacademy.net.